Hey y'all. Today I'm going to be planting a few more shrubs. One is actually going to be, it's going to make a tree, kind of like a crepe myrtle size. If you're in the South, you know exactly what I'm talking about with crepe myrtles. But I'm going to start with this bed here. I have one of the newer spireas, and they're one of my favorite plants. And I already have in this bed, I have the candy corn spirea and the double play doozy, and we're going to be adding this new one. I'll show y'all the specs and stuff when we get started on it. And then we're going to move on around to two other different areas to plant the other two. One, like I said, one will be a shrub, and the other one, depending on, if you're in a more northern state or area, a colder climate, it may not get as big for you as it's going to for me. I'm probably looking at it somewhere around 11 or 12 foot, which is to me a small tree. And so let's get started. This spirea here is the double play Big Bang. I'll bring it closer so y'all can see. The double play Big Bang. It is going to get 3 foot tall and possibly 4 foot wide. And this one has a little bit of a, I don't know, it's a lighter pink than the other two. The other two spirea that I have here, they bloom a darker pink flower, but their foliage is totally different colors. I'll bring y'all a little closer. One of them's actually got a bloom on it right now. Once I get this one planted, I'll bring y'all closer and show y'all the difference. But you can clearly see the difference in the leaf colors. And so if you can, when you're planting plants, if you actually will plant different color foliage plants, you don't really have to have a lot of blooms, even though all three of these do bloom. It'll give you the effect of having flowers, even if it's a plant that doesn't bloom at all or only blooms just, once in the season. And these spireas are pretty much, they're kind of maintenance free. Other than, you just keeping them what size you want them to be. Now, you do benefit by cutting them back a little bit after they flush out blooms and the blooms start to fade. Because if you'll give them a cut back, they'll start sending up new growth. And because they bloom on new growth, you will have a whole new set of blooms, and you can actually have them do that all season long, your whole growing season. And you can throw some fertilizer around them, but for me, they've not been heavy feeders, anything. I don't liquid fertilize or any of that with these. Okay. That is going to be so pretty here. Just be sure to water them in good this time of year. And then you just want to tamp it in a little bit. Don't pack it tight. Like, you don't want to get over here and just stomp it down. You just want to tamp it for your soil to settle a little bit. Okay, I think that's going to be so pretty there. I'm going to bring y'all a little closer so you can really see the difference in the leaves on all of these. You can see how the one on the right, which is the double play doozy, has got the dark green and the burgundy leaves on it. The candy corn on the left has got the yellow, and on over here in the next few weeks it'll have more, it'll have more green in it too. But it has the burgundy with a little bit of a brighter red leaf. And the flower on it, on the candy corn, is a little closer to this new one that I just planted. But let me show y'all the flower on the double play is much darker. See how dark that flower is? These are just, the spireas, like I said, I've said it in more than one video, have turned out to be one of my favorite shrubs. Okay, let's move on to the next one I'm going to be planting. This is the next one I'm going to be planting. This is a shrub. It's a quick fab hydrangea, and I'm going to show y'all the specs on it. It's a beautiful hydrangea, and it's starting to get some buds on it right now. This is on the back side of the pool deck. This is an area that I'm starting to landscape this year. I don't know if the video will come out before this video or after, but I have actually started to plant some things on this side. And if this video comes out before the other one, then you'll see the video where I've planted some stuff already on the other side. But anyways, I have a lot of daylilies on this side, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to plant behind the daylilies. It's got to be something tall. Let me show y'all. It's going to have to be something tall, but something that doesn't get as tall. Let me turn this up. But something that doesn't get as tall as the top of the pool deck, because I do not want it to block the sun from the pool, because the water will be just too cold. So, anyways, this is the area that I'm working on. And so we're going to start over here on this corner with this, and I'll show you the specs on this hydrangea. I will say the quick fire fabs, they have red stems, which are very pretty. Bring it closer so y'all can see. Hopefully the camera is getting that. But this is the little quick fire. I'm sorry, I said quick fire fab. I've got a quick fire fab on the other side, right across from where I'm planting this one. But this is the little quick fire, and It's going to be 3.5 tall and 3.5 wide. And I think it's going to be beautiful here on this corner. Because you know the daylilies, they don't bloom but just for a few weeks unless you have the re-blooming ones. And I've only got a couple of those, but they're not, well, I think I do have 2 here. But the second, and I'm going to have to be careful here so I don't hit my electrical line that goes to the pool plug. I don't remember where it runs through here, and I'll dig slow. And something over here smells amazing. It's probably the butterfly bushes. Because at this point, I think I've probably got, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 around going around the pool area. And the foliage to me just kind of looks tropical after they've quit blooming. And this little quickfire, this is the first one that I've ever grown. And I think I'm going to really enjoy it. Supposed to, for me, because our hydrangeas here most of the time, before you get to see the real pretty color, there's certain ones that you will get to see little shades of, but they don't really turn the real pretty pink colors for us like they do all of you who live in northern states or cooler climates. Like the limelights and some of those, they just turn brown. And this one is supposed to actually give us a little bit of color. We'll see. I think it will. I'm going to wait about watering the top of that one right now. But I'll show y'all. You can see where it's budding right here. And here. Several different places. So that's exciting for me. Let's move on to the next one. Now, the next one is the one that's going to actually make a tree for me, a small tree. And this is the other one. This is one that's going to make a small tree. And y'all, it's starting to bloom. I'm so excited. I'll show y'all. This is the El Nino Desert Orchid. I'll bring it closer. It's going to bloom all summer. Once it starts blooming, it'll bloom all summer. Which is rare for, something that's going to make a tree. It says it's going to get 8 foot tall and 6 foot wide. But that's if you're in a cooler climate. If you're in a warmer climate like me, 7 and up, you can expect it to be 11 or 12 foot tall and more than 6 foot wide. But look how beautiful it's starting to bloom. Look at that flower. And it's going to have long panicles of those all over it. So, if you can find one of these, they're hard to find. But if you can find one, I highly suggest picking one up. They're also pretty heat resistant. And once they get established, they're pretty drought tolerant. So, very excited about this one. It took me at least 2 years. It took me 2 years to be able to find one of these without having to order a little bitty cutting online. I got this one in a 3-gallon pot for like $29.90 something, $30. And online, they ran from 21 to 25 for just a small cutting. Now granted, these do grow fast, but because this should be double this size by the time we get a hard frost. And even if they grow fast, I don't want to buy a little bitty cutting and pay that kind of money for it. I just don't. And so I waited, and I found one at Pike's Nursery. They had several, and when I talked to one of the employees there, she told me that she had only ordered a few. She had never heard of them, but she said she had only ordered a few because she had a couple customers asking about them and, wanting them to get some in. And so she said that she went ahead and ordered a few just to see how they were going to do. And I was telling her what I know about them because, like I said, she said she didn't really know much about them. And when I told her that they were going to bloom all summer and they were going to make a small tree, even she was pretty excited. And this one already looks like a small tree. Look at that trunk. They look tropical to me. The foliage and the trunk. Now they say that these will be multi-trunked. Right now this one only has one. So we'll see if it sprouts up a bunch of stems from below. It's supposed to. Kind of like a crepe myrtle does. Just give it a good drink of water. Now we'll tell y'all a little bit more about this when I get it planted. Alrighty, that one's in now. There's a couple things, at least one thing I want to talk about with this. Now, if you live in an area where you have trouble, if you have hardy hibiscus, and you have trouble with the caterpillar that gets on them and destroys your leaves, that same caterpillar will get on this desert orchid and it will destroy your leaves. And the best thing I found to combat that, it works excellent with a hibiscus, and it's what I'm going to put around this too, is the Fertilome Tree and Shrub Drench. And it was kind of funny because when I was telling that lady at Pike's Nursery who was talking about having ordered some of these, I was telling her that same caterpillar we got to talking about, I said, I reckon that's the only issue is you'll have trouble with the same caterpillar that gets on your hardy hibiscus. And she was like, oh, well, that's good to know. She said, because she had started, she said, in her yard last year using the tree and shrub drench. And she said it worked great on her hibiscus. And I told her, yeah, that's what I use too. And I told her, I said, you can just pour some of that around this El Nino desert orchid. And I said, you know, it should take care of that because it's a once a year, you know, system. You just put it on once a year and you're done. You really don't need to do, I mean, it's really better to do it when it's not blooming because you don't want it to hurt your pollinators. But you need to, you know, you need to do it before it blooms. But you can also, with the Fertilome tree and shrub drench, you can also mix it up at a lot less, you know, not as strong, and spray it on your leaves, which may be what I do until this one, you know, gets a little lull and it's blooming, and then I may go ahead and pour some of the Fertilome, or I may just wait till next spring. I'm not sure about that yet. We'll see. If this consistently blooms like it's supposed to, then I'll probably have to wait till next spring. And but if I do, it'll be okay. One growing season, it's because the caterpillars do not hurt your plant. They just make them look terrible, you know, because they demolish the leaves. But anyways, that's all I'm going to plant in this video. And but I wanted to show y'all, especially with this desert orchid, because I'm so excited about getting to plant it and have it. But those are some tips I thought you might want to know or need to know if you didn't already know it. But maybe it'll help you if you decide to plant one of these, or if you decide to plant hardy hibiscus and you don't have any yet, and you're in a climate or a zone where you have to deal with those dang caterpillars. And so anyways, I hope this helps. Until next time, bye.